Hey guys, good morning. It's Miss Butler here. Today, ready to do another drawing challenge with you guys. We are going to go over 1 point perspective today. And for those of you that don't remember, 1 point perspective is a technical way to draw. If you're a video game designer, any kind of designer at all, product design, architecture, it's just a technical way of drawing where everything is in real life perspective. So the first thing we want to do, we're going to do 1 point. So for those of you that don't remember, we're going to add a vanishing point. Today we're going to do 3 boxes just as a review in 1 point perspective in each 3 different views. So the first thing I've done is drawn a vanishing point. That's always the first thing you want to do. So that's my VP. The next thing you want to do is we are going to do a horizon line. Today I'm using just actually a paint stirrer with a ruler on it, but if you don't have a ruler, you can definitely make one with a cereal box. Any kind of packaging that you're going to throw away that's cardboard, you can just kind of cut it down the side, and it'll make you a straight edge. So we've got, what I've done now is I've added my horizon line. It's always the second step. We're going to do that. I'm going to label it so we remember. So those are always the first 2 things you do in perspective drawing if you have a horizon line. And we'll get into that later. But today for what we're going to do, that's what we're going to start out with. The next thing I'm going to do is draw 3 boxes, one above the horizon line, one below it, and then one on top. We're going to go over the different views, which most of y'all probably remember. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to hold it away from where I'm drawing so I can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to do like a 1-inch box. Now, if you notice, I'm holding a ruler on the other side so I can see what I'm drawing. A lot of you guys, when I see you use your rulers, you try to like say I'm going to draw this line here, you'll sit there like this and cover what you're doing. Always hold the ruler on the opposite side of what you're doing. So like that, so I can see kind of the shape. I can see that I'm pretty straight. So that's how you always want to hold your ruler. You don't want to cover up what you're doing. You always want to hold it above. So I'm going to draw that box. I'm going to draw one below, kind of same idea. Let's make that guy kind of over here, the bottom. And you can do them different sizes. Doesn't really matter. You can even have some of them be different lengths. I'm not really worried about that. I just kind of want you guys to remember how to draw in each different what the different views are. And this is kind of like the first thing you learn when you do perspective is how to draw each view all on one piece of paper, which is gets kind of complicated after that, but we're going to do it today. So I've got one above, one square above, one below. Now I'm going to draw one on top of the horizon line. And again, they could be, if you want to do them like rectangles, that's fine too. So I'm going to it's not going to be perfect, but I'm still using my ruler the right way. I'm holding it where I can see that I have pretty straight boxes, so not too bad. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of think about the horizon line, as like I'm walking on toward these boxes, and the horizon is what I see. So in that case, this line right here, this square, we're going to turn into a cube, and it would be in front of the horizon line. So I'm going to erase that line. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make something called orthogonal lines. They are the diagonal lines that connect to the vanishing point. So that's always what you want to do next. So I'm going to take this edge of that square, and I am going to do a very light-handed line because I'm going to erase these later. So you don't want to press too hard, but I'm going to make that orthogonal or diagonal line go from the edge of the box to the vanishing point. And I'm going to do the same thing here. So there's one. And now I'm going to do the same thing to the other 2. So I'm going to take the edge of this box and pretend that it's coming out from the vanishing point like that. I'm going to look at each edge. This one right over here, I wouldn't see this edge, so I'm not really worried about it. This kind of line would be in front, the shape. So up here I'm going to I can see that I can see that edge So I'm going to take the edge of this box. I'm going to do another one, and then I'm going to do this edge. So again, got 2 there. I'm going to do this one, the bottom one last. So got that guy. I'm going to do the next little edge. And then this one is our final one. And again, I'm not going to hold the ruler like this because I can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to hold it above the shape so I can kind of see the line I'm going to draw. So pretty good. All right, so now we've got our orthogonal lines drawn, and this is going to help me turn the boxes into cubes so they look realistic. So the next thing you're going to do is kind of tricky. You're going to create the edge of this box and turn it into a cube. So we need to make kind of the side of the box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the edge of this box, line my ruler up, and I'm going to just kind of push it back to where it's still straight. And I'm going to do a little line right there. So now, if you can see, if I erase this guy, I have the side of my box in perspective. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. And the secret is you want to hold your ruler against the box where it's really straight and then come down however wide you want your box to be. So I'm going to come down about like that. I'm going to draw a line, as you can see. And then what I'm going to do is do the same thing. I'm going to line up my ruler. I'm going to push it back until I see the edge of this other line and try to keep it real straight like that. So I've got the edge. It is a lot easier if you have a clear ruler, but you can still do anything with a ruler that's not clear or even just a straight edge. So you can see I've got an edge there, got an edge of my box there. I'm going to do this one real quick. So again, hold the ruler against the square, back up a little bit. There's the edge of my box. I'm going to do the same thing. Hold it, push it back. Find where, move my finger so y'all can see. Find where the edge of that box stops from the other line you drew, and you're just going to connect like so. So now I've got my boxes drawn, and the next thing I need to do is erase my orthogonal lines, my setup lines basically. So these little diagonal lines are going to go away. I'm just going to erase my little VP mark because we don't really need it anymore. But now my box looks like it's really in perspective, as if it was coming at me. And I'm going to erase these other lines too. The only line that stays when you do this type of drawing is your horizon line. But everything else, like as far as the diagonals, you want to erase. So I'm going to just erase this line, and now I've got my boxes. So this could be also, well, you're going to shade the boxes because that kind of makes it look more believable. So you can always shade a little bit. From what you guys remember, you can do like kind of hatch marks. When you shade the boxes a little bit, it kind of makes it look more real. You can also add details, like, you know, I could add trees back here, I could add the mountains. That might be kind of cool. Maybe there's some mountains back here. Maybe the moon is back here. You can always add little details. So you do some more little shading here. You can use your finger to shade. You can also use a Q-tip. Q-tip or even a makeup brush if you don't have a blender. I have a blender today, so I'm just going to use that. But it kind of gives you an idea if you want to kind of shade the boxes a little bit. It's going to make them look like they have more depth. And you could shade a little bit on the front of the box if you wanted to, just to kind of make it look more real. But now you can see I have a 1-point perspective drawing. And you know, you can add more details to it too. So to go over the views, it's kind of tricky. There's worm's eye, bird's eye, and street level. So this box right here is on the horizon line. So that one's kind of an easy one to remember. This one is called eye level, or you can call it street level. Either one is right. So eye level or street level when you're on the horizon line. It's a little tricky to remember the other ones. If I'm looking up at something and I can see the bottom, you're going to remember that when you can see the bottom of something, like if I'm a little worm over here, let's draw a little worm so we remember our little worm. Let's give him a hat. If the little worm looks up the box and can see the bottom of the box, that means that this is worm's eye view. It's a little confusing because you would think that the box at the top would be bird's eye, but it's actually opposite. If you can see the bottom of the box, you're worm's eye view. And likewise here, if I'm a little bird, there's the little bird, if he's looking down on the top of the box, that actually means this is bird's eye view, if you can see the top. So that's kind of tricky, but when you get into it, it kind of makes sense. So that is a just kind of quick rundown and review of 1-point perspective, just the basics. Beyond there, you can draw 1-point perspective in worm's eye view, in bird's eye view, or on street level. So you can actually draw from each perspective, like what box you're in. So we'll get into that with some of our other videos, but this is the basics of how to draw 3 boxes in each view in 1-point perspective. Y'all have a wonderful day.